Hey guys, Liz Haberberger here. And whether you are a current leader or someone looking to develop your leadership skills, you are in the right place because today we're going to be focused on leadership styles, uncovering what our own leadership style is, how we can develop a leadership style, and how we can grow within a leadership style. Now, leadership styles are kind of like fashion styles, right? There's a million of them. We're gonna look at 4 building blocks today, but there's a ton, just like in fashion, right? Everybody has their own unique style that works for them. And if you would try to take someone's style and maybe like transfer it to you, it wouldn't work so well, but it works for that person. Well, leadership styles are no different. There are an infinite number of combinations of ways we can mix and match these 4 building blocks that we're gonna look at today to create a really strong leader. So again, in this video, we're gonna cover those 4 basic building blocks, what they mean in terms of how we show up as leaders, and how we can develop and uncover our own leadership style so that we can be more effective in our roles each and every day. We're also going to talk about uncovering your style and being able to grow, being able to figure out what you can do differently to be even more effective. So first, when we think about these 4 styles, everything we talk about today is going to be on a scale. So these 4 building blocks, it's not like you either have it or you don't. You have all of these in some degree. Some of these 4 are just gonna show up much more dominantly for you. Now, the model that we're gonna look at today, you might have heard of before. It's the DISC model. Now, the DISC model has been around for a long time, and organizations will use it to hire people, they'll use it to promote people or to develop people. So we're gonna look at these 4 foundational building blocks today that can give us an idea of what are the different leadership styles we can have. So we're gonna start off with the very first one. And the first one, it's an acronym, by the way, so DISC. Those are gonna be the 4 letters of the 4 styles. So the D is all about dominance, right? And if we think about it on a scale, the higher you are on that dominance scale, the more likely you are to show up, move quick, get down to business, and make things happen. The higher your dominant style is, the more likely you are to be results and progress driven. People who have the higher dominant style love problems and challenges. Like, they love them so much that if there's no problem or there's no challenge going on, sometimes they'll make one so that they can solve it because they love them that much. Now, people who have lower dominance, it's not that they can't solve problems. They would just prefer to set up life so that there were none. Their goal is to just make things as simple, no conflict, no challenges as possible. So you fall somewhere on that scale. Maybe you're right in the middle. Maybe you say, oh yeah, I'm like quick moving, let's go get things done kind of person. Or maybe you say, you know what, I try to stay out of the conflict, I stay out of the drama, I don't want to deal with the problems. You fall somewhere on that scale. For me, I'm like way up there. I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna be fast-paced, and I'm gonna make things happen as a leader. So dominance is the first style. The second style, the I style, is all about influence. So this is, think of this scale, right? The higher you are on that influence scale, the more optimistic you are. The more positive, bubbly, big picture thinking, right? You're a visionary, energetic. You can probably guess where I fall on that I scale. I literally am like a 96 on that I scale, so I am way up there. Every time you see me, I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna be having fun. I'm gonna have a smile on my face. People with that influence style, we also really like squirrels. Like, we can be working on something and then it's like, oh, look at that over there. That's a shiny object. That looks, oh, what about that idea over there? That would be great too. I's, that influence style as a leadership is going to be inspiring and motivating. People who are lower on that I, it doesn't mean that you can't motivate. It doesn't mean you can't inspire people. It just means you tend to be a little more task-oriented, right? You might be a little more subdued. You're probably not going to be the loudest leader in the room or the most excited or the most engaged. Again, everyone falls on this scale somewhere. You fall on that scale somewhere. You could determine where that is for yourself. Third style is the S, and the S is all about steadiness. So this scale, the higher you fall on that scale, the more likely you are to love routine, right? You love coming in and knowing exactly what's expected of you, the process to get there, and how to make it happen. People who are really high on that steadiness leadership style, they are incredible team players. Like, as a leader, you want a lot of S's on your team, that steady style, because they work so well together. People with that style tend to be people. They're dependable, they're gonna get things done, and they're gonna be friendly when they do it. Now, don't worry if you are thinking, I don't know if I have that style. Low S doesn't mean you're not a people person. It doesn't mean that you are not a team player. It just means that you're a little more open to change. Like, just because we did something that way yesterday, maybe we could do it that way today, but maybe there's another way to do it. My S, I'm like a little bit lower there. So I like to be dependable. I like to work with people, but I'm also perfectly fine like switching it up, maybe doing something different from one day to the next. Where do you fall on that scale? Are you more on the like, let's keep it simple, let's keep the same thing, it's working, I'm working with people, I'm getting things done? Are you like a little bit on the let's switch it up, figure out new ways to do things side? Okay, last style is the C style. The C style is compliant. So this scale, the higher you are on that C scale, the more likely you love processes. You love the data. You love looking at the numbers. You're analytical, you are thoughtful, and you're cautious, right? People who have a really high C leadership style, they're not gonna make rushed decisions just because it sounds good. They're gonna look at the data, right? They wanna know that everything is going the way it's supposed to go and that this is the right answer because of this. People who are lower on the C side of leadership, they tend to go with their gut a little bit more, right? They're not as concerned about researching all the options and finding the best one. They don't need all the data. They're just gonna make decisions. My C is like really, really low. So project management, I don't like to do it. Anything really detail focused, right, where you have to maybe get into a spreadsheet and line up numbers, or you have to make sure you've got the dates right to execute a project. That is not my strength as a leader. So you've got a dot on all four of these lines. What this says about my leadership style is that I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna have a lot of fun, I'm gonna be optimistic, I'm gonna be engaging, and we're gonna get stuff done. We're gonna be moving and shaking, and you know what? We might do it differently than we did the other day, and I'm not really thinking about the details of it, I'm just thinking big picture. That's my leadership style. So there are infinite combinations of these four. You might have your 4 dots, new color. You might have your 4 dots in a totally different place. You could be someone like this, who maybe you're gonna be really optimistic and you're gonna be a team player, you're gonna have things working and flowing, you're dependable, you're trying to avoid all these problems and challenges, you don't need to go so fast, right? And maybe you don't like looking at all the data. There's so many combinations, right? You can have dots all over these lines. So what makes the most effective style, right? right? Is there one as a leader that we say, ooh, I really need to be like that. If I want to be a good leader, I have to be really high up here on that driver scale, or I need to be really low on that S scale, or really high on the C scale. And the answer is no. There's no right or wrong style when it comes to leadership. You can be an effective leader with any of these styles. There are 3 keys that you want to keep in mind. So once you determine your style, and you can do that, right, just by thinking about it, write out this scale. Where would you rank yourself? Ask your team to rank you. Ask your partner or your boss or your peers or your direct reports. Have them rank you on these 4 and see where you fall. But here's what we know. The most effective leaders, the first thing is that they just know their style. Right? They know what their own strengths are as a leader, and they know where their opportunities are. I know, and my whole team knows, that I don't mess with project management. They don't want me messing with project management. But when we need big picture ideas and I need to motivate and inspire, I know that that's a strength of mine. So any leader knows their style. Second, you have to own your style. Right? Don't try to say, I have to be everything, because as a leader, you can't. You cannot be all of these things to every person at every point in your day. So own your style. Know your strengths, know your weaknesses, and be okay with that. Okay, third step, you gotta know your style, you gotta own your style, and then you have to be willing to grow within your style. So I could spend all of my time and all of my energy, like focused down here on project management and details, and I don't even know what else goes in there, like data stuff, but that'll be such a waste of my time to try to grow there. So good leaders, they grow within their strengths. They figure out, okay, if this is my style, how do I grow my skill set? How do I grow my ability to influence? Now, that doesn't mean I can't do the things that are down here, right? I can still work on them, but I'm gonna get a much better return if I'm focused on my strengths versus trying to grow my weaknesses. So once you identify your style, then it simply becomes, do you know it? Do you own it? And are you gonna grow within it? So whether you are an existing leader and you've been leading people for a long time, you're a brand new leader, or you're just someone who wants to develop your leadership skills, there are an infinite combination of leadership styles. But knowing your style is gonna help you be more effective in your role. So if you liked this video, be sure to subscribe below. We always put out video content focused on developing leadership ability within existing and future leaders. Have a great day. Figure out your own leadership style, know it, own it, and grow it.